Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 749, Howard McNear as acting specialist. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by over at Weavers and check out the new 2024 Andy Griffith Show wall calendar. That's right, we just got it in a week or so ago. Go ahead and get yourself one. There's rumors this could be the last year of the wall calendar. Sad news, but keep your fingers crossed. Get one this year, though. While you're over there, hey, it's getting close to Halloween time. Get you an old man Rimshaw print to hang up around your house or maybe above the fireplace. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of episode number 749 is Terry Neiman, and the Patreon patrons of the week for 749 are Bob and Pat Mundy. Hello, everybody. I'm Alan Houston, the host of Two Chairs No Waiting, and we are here again to have fun in Mayberry. Now, just so you know, I'm always looking for things that we may have never seen that are related to our friends in Mayberry. You know, that being like, you know, stories or photos or articles or, you know, just about anything that touches on either the characters or the actors who played them on the Andy Griffith Show. I'm always looking for stuff like that. Well, I recently ran across an article from the Los Angeles Times dated January 12th, 1960. And the title of the article is the title of the podcast tonight. It's called it says McNear Hailed as Acting Specialist. So basically the podcast is named something very similar to that this week. And so I'm going to read this to you. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to, see, I need to get us some background music so we can just have that going in the background there. But I ran across this, and it was from 1960, as I said, January 12th, 1960. And I felt like I'd struck gold. I mean, this is really something I'd never seen before. And it's like, oh, wow, this is cool. Now, there isn't any talk in this article about the Andy Griffith Show, because at the time this was published, Howard had not yet filmed an episode of the Andy Griffith Show. His first episode as Floyd on the Andy Griffith Show was Mayberry Goes Hollywood, and it came on January the 2nd, 1961. This article is January 12th, 1960. So it's almost a year before he actually appeared as Floyd on the Andy Griffith Show for the very first time. Now, hey, I will say that he had already been a barber on television, though, at least once, for sure, because he appeared as Andy the Barber on season 2, episode 8 of Leave It to Beaver. The episode was called The Shave, and it was on November the 20th, 1958. So he had definitely been a barber, and, you know, who knows, that role may very well have led his way to Mayberry. So maybe Andy and the producers saw him in that role and said, hey, that's who we could get to be the barber on the Andy Griffith Show. So that's going to be my story, whether it's true or not. But I realize I'm a little biased towards Howard McNear. I do have a soft spot for him in my heart, since I portray or do a tribute to him as Floyd the Barber. But I hope you'll enjoy hearing a bit about his career and about him before Floyd. I checked, and I've done 9 episodes prior to this one of the podcast about Howard McNear. And, since I've done, another 740 or so episodes about things that are not him, I feel like I'm balancing things out pretty well. I'm not focusing just on him. But there will be a link in the show notes if you'd like to go and hear all the older episodes that I've done about him. There's some really good ones about Gunsmoke you might really enjoy. I definitely encourage you to go listen to them. But let's get into this. I'm going to play a little bit of background music for us to hear this. Let's do this music. There we go. A little bit of fun music. I'll turn it way down here. So this again is titled McNear Hailed as Acting Specialist. So Howard McNear, man, what What a great guy he was. All right, so here we go. This is actor prefers novel roles and turns down straight parts. This is by Haida, Hedda Hopper, Haida Harper, from the Los Angeles Times Entertainment section. When top comedians chew the fat about their craft, Howard McNear's name is bound to come up. He's played with all of them, bringing a unique type characterization to their shows, which no one has succeeded in imitating. It kind of hurts. I guess that kind of hurts me a little bit. Wait a minute. This was before me. They don't know me. But I agree. Nobody can imitate him completely. He was awesome. Going on here. I knew him first on my radio shows. Later as Mr. Hamish on the George Gobel's time. I've watched him with George Burns and Gracie Allen, Tennessee Ernie Ford, and with Jack Benny. Recently, he stepped out of his favorite characterizations to play a doctor in Anatomy of a Murder. It's brought him a slew of offers for straight roles. George Cukor, which I looked him up, George Cukor was a director of comedies back in the day. That's who he was. He was an American film director and producer that concentrated on comedies. So George Cukor will pay him his price, talking about Howard McNear, to read one line in his indomitable manner. so he'd pay him just to do one line in a movie in the character that Howard McNear could do. This is a quote here. It says, but I don't just like to play straight. Maybe I ought to do it in his voice. Yeah, but I don't like to play straight parts anymore, he told me. Just last week, I turned one down. Yeah, my agent could have killed me, and so could my wife. But it was a serious thing. They wanted me for a judge who was committing a girl to a mental institution. I don't think it was right for me. I prefer specialized bits. McNear, who refers to himself as a second banana in the laugh field, realizes his jittery, frustrated character who leaves sentences hanging in the air at times while pantomiming finishing out the idea is too intense to be done too often. He's sort of nervous wreck, and you can't be on that too much with it, he explains. I fitted him into the part of an absent-minded lawyer for Jack Benny's show, which isn't released yet, and he's called me for another show on the 18th. At first he wanted me to play it straight, and I tried for a couple of rehearsals. Then they agreed it would be better for me to do it my own way. Jack said he thought I was master of this particular thing, and he couldn't remember anyone doing a character quite like it. So, man, I would like to see that on the Jack Benny show. So he was doing basically the same character. Let's read that again. He's talking about being a second banana who pantomimes the finishes. So he leaves sentences hanging in the air at times while pantomiming finishes out the idea. But it's a little too intense. He's sort of a nervous wreck, and you can't be on too much with it, he explained. I fitted him into the part of the absent-minded lawyer for Jack Benny's show, which isn't released yet, and he's called me for another show on the 18th. At first he wanted me to play it straight, and I tried it for a couple of rehearsals. Then they agreed it would be better for me to do it my own way. Jack said he thought I was the master of this particular thing, and he couldn't remember anyone doing a character quite like it. Can't you just see him saying this? Going on with the article. He has a theory that such characterizations aren't copied from any one thing or a combination of things the comedian has ever seen or heard. This is a quote from him again. I think they evolve from the person himself. I think perhaps it's my own mannerisms, exaggerated, of course. I've often wondered if such portrayals aren't built up from the subconscious. I've worked with practically all the big comics and have arrived at the conclusion after analyzing their techniques. He arrived at that conclusion after analyzing their techniques. People are tougher than audiences, it says. Going back to him quoted, "As a young fellow, I was painfully shy. I was so shy." I added that part. "I'm still shy." Well, I shouldn't have added it. It's the next line. "I really feel perfectly at home only when I'm on stage. Meeting people is far harder for me than being behind the floodlights. Perhaps that's because I can feel I'm someone else when I'm acting. I was trained for an architect because my father was an architect and a bank vault engineer." Howard McNear was born on Hope Street in Los Angeles and has seen the town grow from a delightful sun-swept vacation spot to a smog-filled metropolis. He's been married for 25 years to a girl he met at the beginning of his career when they both were in the same stock company. They have one son who attends Hollywood High and has no interest in acting. He's a fisherman, and whatever he does, I'll keep him around the water. There he goes. So that was Kit, his son. And that is the entire article. Isn't that neat that he was actually on these other shows? I'd love to see him on the Jack Benny show, wouldn't you? See if he's Floyd on there. If you'll remember, Howard McNear played Doc on Gunsmoke. I don't know if you remember that or not. As it said, he was a native of Los Angeles, California, and had a long career in radio and in films. But he's forever going to be remembered as the scene-stealing Floyd the barber from the Andy Griffith Show. Don Knotts once said that playing Floyd wasn't much of a stretch for Howard McNear, as his real personality was pretty much like Floyd to begin with. He started off his career and was Doc Adams on Gunsmoke, which, you know, I've always think, "Oh, hello, Matthew." Hey, yeah, he was always, and of course, Parley Bear was Chester. So the Mayor Stoner was Chester. You guys have heard this all before. A lot of you have, but in films, he often played congressmen, hotel managers, or other figures like that. Although on a few occasions, he did play a villain. And of course, while on the Andy Griffith Show, he had a stroke and lost use of his left side, basically. Definitely something that we have known. I don't think I would have ever known that except for being told. I don't think I would have picked up on it watching the episodes. Howard McNear's great-grandfather, by the way, I looked up. His name was Frank Ellis McNear. He was a private in Company B, the 36th Massachusetts Infantry, during the American Civil War. And his unit saw action at the Wilderness in Fredericksburg and Petersburg, Virginia, and in Vicksburg, Mississippi, as well as some other locations. His father's name was also Frank Ellis McNear. So his grandfather was Franklin, and his father was actually Frank McNear. And he had a sibling named Frank Wood McNear, and a sister, I guess he is his brother, and then a sister named Ruth Ellis McNear and Ellis Edges McNear. So he had one of them, Ruth Ellis. She only lived about a year. So anyway, I thought you would enjoy this. I hope you did. This is a little bit of insight into Floyd, Andy the barber from Leave It to Beaver, and of course made his way from Leave It to Beaver to our hearts in Mayberry. So I hope you guys did enjoy that. All right, so now let's go along to play in some Mayberry trivia. So get out your pencil and a piece of paper and let's play So the trivia this week, we're going to do 10 questions, and these, once again, will be multiple choice. All right. So, hey, we've had some folks send in some trivia questions. I want to thank them for doing that. If I haven't gotten to your questions, it's only because I've got a backlog of questions and comments from folks. So next week is our 750th episode. So maybe I can get to some of the stuff that you guys have been sending in. If you've got anything you'd like to send and talk about, it'd be a good time to send it this week so that I will have it early. Send it as early as you can. If you send it on Monday next week, it's not going to make it. All right, so let's do the trivia. Everybody get your pencil and a piece of paper. Here is the trivia. I'm pulling up the chat room so I can see them. So speaking of the chat room, if you'd like to join in when I record this show live, you can join us on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time at live.twochairsnowaiting.com. And you can join in the chat room like the fine folks that are in there tonight. We got about 50 people nearly in there. All right, so here we go. Question number 1. Old Man Davis, and you got to pick the right answer from these multiple choice. He A, sold a cow to Otis. B, Andy and Barney's high school biology teacher. Or C, owns the hardware store. So Old Man Davis. Old Man Davis. Is he A? Is he the person who sold Otis a cow? Is it B, Andy and Opie's high school biology teacher? Or is it C, he owns the hardware store there in Mayberry? Okay. Old Man Davis. The answer is, you can pause the podcast if you're listening to the recorded version, if you don't hear the answer yet. But the answer is Old Man Davis sold Otis a cow. That is the answer. So there you go. That was question number 1. Question number 2. I'm trying to keep up with what number I'm on. Augusta Finch. Augusta Finch. Was she A? Is she a blonde right out of the bottle? Augusta Finch. Is she B? Was she sold the mayor a bad jacket? Okay, is that right? Or is she C, passed away and is the same age as Aunt B? Have we already done these questions? I feel like we've done these. Y'all, the people in the chat room are getting really good here. So was she Augusta Finch? Did I already do these? I feel like I may have already done these. If I have, you're going to get the first 10 correct. All right, so was Augusta Finch a blonde out of the bottle? A. But did she sell the mayor a bad jacket? Nobody in the chat room is admitting that they've heard these before. Or C, did she pass away because she's the same age as Aunt B? The answer is C. She's the same age as Aunt B. So we're going to run through them pretty quick because I feel like we've done these. You should get these right. It was at least a couple of weeks ago, but you should be getting them right. Oscar Fields. Did he A, try to swindle Mrs. Mendelbright? B, was he a fishing buddy of Goobers? Or C, judges pickles at the county fair? Oscar Fields. Oscar Fields. Does he try to swindle Mrs. Mendelbright, a fishing buddy of Goobers, or judges pickles at the fair? A, B, or C? The answer is A. He tried to swindle Mrs. Mendelbright. I know we've done these. You guys are just not telling me. So you're getting another chance to get these right. Idell Bushy. Was she A, Aunt B's hairdresser? B, Dud Wash looks at her, making Charlene jealous? Or C, was a Miss Mayberry contestant? Okay. Idell Bushy. Which was she? Aunt B's hairdresser? Dud Wash looked at her, made Charlene mad? Or C, a Miss Mayberry contestant? The answer is Idell Bushy, Dud Wash looked at her and made Charlene jealous. That is the answer. Yeah, these folks everybody's doing really good because you've heard these, I think, before. Whatever number the next one is. What are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5, Dave Brown. Dave Brown, you should get this one. Was A, a hobo who says Tuscarora? B, a game warden at Myers Lake? Or C, a reporter for the Mayberry Gazette? Dave Brown. Dave Brown. Was he a hobo, a game warden, or a reporter? The answer, Dave Brown he was a hobo who says Tuscarora. So that's it. All right. Number 6, Roger Courtney. Roger Courtney was A, in charge of the Founders Day Parade, B, a longtime councilman, or C, a member of the Esquire Club. Okay. Roger Courtney, in charge of the Founders Day Parade, A, B, a longtime councilman, or C, a member of the Esquire Club. Roger Courtney. The answer, that Roger Courtney was a member of the Esquire Club. C, that is correct. So number 7, Wilbur Finch. Wilbur Finch, A, plays the trombone in the town band. B, is a traveling shoe salesman. Or C, operates a still in the old rim shop place. You can get a print from the old rim place at Weaver's. Wilbur Finch, which is it? Plays the trombone, is a traveling shoe salesman, or operates a still in the old rim shop place. Pause if you don't want to hear the answer. The answer is Wilbur Finch is B, a traveling shoe salesman. Traveling shoe salesman. All right. 7, 8, 9, 10. 7. Number 8, George Sepley. George Sepley was A, he sold his gas station to Ed Sawyer. B, bought Otis's car. Or C, fixes Helen's television. Which is he? George Sepley sold his gas station to Ed Sawyer. That's A. B, bought Otis's car. Or C, fixes Helen's TV. The answer? George Sepley sold his gas station to Ed Sawyer. It's A. All right, number 8, Sam Allen. Sam Allen. Was he A, a state police inspector and a friend of Andy's? Was he B, the owner of Jimmy the Loaded Goat? Or was he C, Aunt Bee's milkman? Sam Allen was a state inspector, friend of Andy's. That's A. Was he B, the owner of Jimmy the Loaded Goat? Or C, Aunt Bee's milkman? The answer, Sam Allen was a state inspector and a friend of Andy's. It's A. That's right. And number 10, Arthur Harrington. Arthur Harrington left $500 to the church in his will. B, was a movie producer from Hollywood. Or C, was an attorney who came to bail out Ron Bailey. Arthur Harrington. Was he left $500 to the church in his will. B, he was a movie producer from Hollywood. Or C, he was an attorney that came to bail out Ron Bailey. The answer is C. He was an attorney who came to bail out Ron Bailey. All right. So we're going to try to run through a number 10 more of these questions because I know you'd heard all those. So let's see how you do on these. So that was the warm up. Here we go. Number 10, number 1. I guess this is number 11. Miss Helen Crump grew up in A, Virginia, B, Kansas, or C, West Virginia. Miss Helen Crump grew up in A, Virginia, B, Kansas, or C, West Virginia. The answer is Helen Crump grew up in B, Kansas. B, it's Kansas. All right, number 12. Number 12. Miss Von Roeder was known for being, so Miss Von Roeder was known for being A, the beast of the fourth floor, B, a widow stepping out with dish towel salesman, or C, the cook for Andy and Opie when Aunt Bee was out of town. Miss Von Roeder was known for being A, the beast of the fourth floor, B, stepping out with a dish towel salesman, or C, the cook for Andy and Opie when Aunt Bee was out of town. The answer, Mrs. Von Roeder, is known for being the beast of the fourth floor. That's exactly right. So it was A. A is the answer. This is question number 13. If anybody would like to say the incant, you can reach over and grab your left earlobe with your, you know the deal. You can go ahead and do that. Number 13. The Sultan's favorite was named, was it A, Sue Ann, B, Lucy, or C, Flossie? Oh, that's a good one. The Sultan's favorite. What was her name? Was it A, Sue Ann, B, Lucy, or C, Flossie? Ooh. Yeah, so folks in the chat room are getting these right, by the way, just so you guys know that are not in the chat room. All right, so the answer to this is the Sultan's favorite was named C, Flossie. Flossie was her name, Flossie. Number 14. Clara Edwards keeps steady company with, this is interesting. I didn't remember this. Clara Edwards keeps steady company with A, Clark Cooper, B, Henry Cholate, or C, Frank Chase. I don't know how you say his name. Clara Edwards is keeping steady company with A, Clark Cooper, B, Henry Choate, that's how you'd say it, or C, Frank Chase. The answer, Clara has been keeping steady company. I'm hearing this from Sarah, so I'm not sure it's right. But the answer, Clara keeps steady company with Clark Cooper. Clark Cooper. Yeah, that's who it is. Clark Cooper from Cleveland, who caught my clean copper crackers from the closet. It could have been him. All right. Number 15. Hazel is A, the biggest gossip in town, B, Hazel plays the piano for the town choir, or C, Hazel was Mrs. Wiley's maid. Hazel is A, the biggest gossip in town, B, plays the piano in the church choir, or C, was Mrs. Wiley's maid. Ooh, this is a good one. I like this. All right, so you can pause if you don't want to know, but the answer is Hazel. She plays the piano for the town choir. Hazel. All right, number 16. Oh, we're running. Number 16. All right, here we go. Who receives a Bible for being the church's most faithful member? Who receives a Bible for being the church's most faithful member? I did not know this one. Was it A, Mrs. Middlebright? Was it B, Emma Brand Watson? Or was it C, Clara Edwards? Who receives a Bible for being the church's most faithful member? A, Mrs. Middlebright, B, Emma Watson and Brand Watson, or C, Clara Edwards? I'm not sure, folks, you're going to get this one in the chat room. Let's see here. All right, so the answer is, who received a Bible for being the church's most faithful member? The answer is A, Mrs. Middlebright. Well, I didn't remember that. All right, number 17. This potato queen presented a potato to the governor on Founders Day. Okay, this potato queen presented a potato to the governor on Founders Day. Was it A, Josephine Pike? Was it B, Sarah Dobbins? Or was it C, Sally Higgins? Oh, this is good. Oh, the chat room's saying, does he doubt our knowledge? All right, the potato queen, who was she? The one that presented the governor a potato. A, Josephine Pike, B, Sarah Dobbins, or C, Sally Higgins? All right, so the answer is the potato queen who presented a potato to the governor on Founders Day was B, Sharon Dobbins. Sharon Dobbins. Good job, chat room. People are getting this right. Wow. If you'd like to be in the chat room again, guys, you can join us on the podcast live.2chairsnowaiting.com on Monday nights at 8 p.m. And you can be in the chat room and visit with all these 40 or 50 folks that are in there right now. All right, what number are we on? 19? 18? Let me count here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I thought we're on 19. All right, the next one, whatever the number is. With Aunt Bee's first paycheck from the printing company, she bought a dress for A, $9.95, B, $10.89, or C, $8.50. Ooh, that's hard. All right. With Aunt Bee's first paycheck from the printing company, she bought a dress for A, $9.95, B, $10.98, or C, $8.50. The answer, Aunt Bee's first paycheck, she bought a dress for A, $9.95. That was number 18. Number 18. Number 19. Got two more questions here. Number 19, Cousin Gloria. Her former fiance was named, was it A, Kenny? Was it B, Frank? Or was it C, Harry? Cousin Gloria. Cousin Gloria's former fiance was named Kenny, Frank, or Harry? What is the answer? Cousin Gloria's former fiance. All right. The answer is Cousin Gloria's former fiance was named B, Frank. Frank was his name. And our final, number 20 for the night, our final question here. Clara Edwards. Boy, Clara's getting a lot of work tonight, isn't she? Clara Edwards has a son named A, Jim, B, Anthony, or C, Gail. Clara Edwards has a son named A, Jim, B, Anthony, or C, Gail. Okay, what is the answer? The answer is C, Gail. So Clara Edwards' son's name is Gail. All right. How did you do? How did you do? How did you do, Mrs. Wiley? All right, guys, that is our trivia for tonight. I hope you did pretty good. Now, the first 10 questions, you should have been able to do pretty good because I'm pretty sure we did those last time. That was 2 weeks ago, but I'm pretty sure we actually did those. And you should have had an opportunity to have remembered at least some of that. I tried to help you so that you'd be able to get them right. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about Howard McNear and Floyd and his career. And if you would like to look at the other episodes, there's going to be a link in our show notes. The other episodes I have done about Howard McNear, I definitely would encourage you to go and check those out and just enjoy the trivia. I'm pretty sure I did that on the big trivia episode a couple of weeks ago, that first 10. So if you didn't get at least 10, you should have. But I wouldn't have. It's been 2 weeks. I don't remember the answers. I wasn't even sure I'd read them before, but I sure felt like I had. I'm pretty sure I did. So folks, hey, I want to thank you for being here with me and spending some time in Mayberry. And even if I guess it was a rerun for some of the trivia questions, but we like reruns. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear from you. Next week is our 750th episode. That's some kind of a milestone, I am sure. So I'd love to hear from you. Give me a call at 888-684-8415 and let me know what you think about the podcast. Just anything you'd like to talk about the Andy Griffith Show. I'd love to hear from you. You can also email me at floyd@imayberry.com. Do this fairly early in the week so I'm not scrambling around right before I record the show on Monday. I actually have a job. I have to work. I don't have time. So send them to me early in the week, and I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, everybody, thanks for being here, and we'll see you here on Two Chairs. Good night, everybody.